Okay, this is Eliel here. Welcome to this video tutorials. We're going to be building a series of video for this tutorial. We're going to build a ethical hacking virtual lab environment. We're going to use Virtualbox to do that. And on this virtual lab, ethical hacking virtual lab environment, we're going to be building a couple machines, Windows 7, Windows 10, and Kali Linux. And we're going to do some hacking on Windows 7 and Windows 10 using Kali Linux and Metasploit. We're going to access some vulnerability in there. Here's the deal. Once you use this, we're going to be building this virtual lab environment because, like again, the purpose is for ethical hacking. You know that's illegal to do hacking unless if you have written permission to do ethical hacking elsewhere. You'll be able to do that. But please use this information only for educational purpose. Don't use this for any other ways other than educational purpose, and don't use this elsewhere outside of your virtual environment that we're going to be building unless if you have a proper written permission to do so. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with this. We're going to be starting by installing Virtualbox. So if you open your browser, search for Virtualbox, the first link that's going to come up, click on it and click on download Virtualbox, and here we're going to download two files. This is the actual Virtualbox installation file. I'm going to be using Windows because that's the operation system that I'm going to be using for this. And we want to build this, install this Virtualbox extension pack, which gives us more functionality with all these devices. Used to be USB 2, USB 3, and other options for RDP, disk encryption, etc. So let's go ahead and download those two. Virtualbox are installed. So if you go to your downloads folder, you're going to see that they're installed. Let's double click on this. And I want to close this because I don't need this. And let's install Virtualbox. I'm going to use the default. Don't worry about this. Just click the default settings. Ignore this warning message. Just say yes and install. You're probably not going to see this because I'm recording this. This pop-up doesn't show, but do you want to allow this app to make changes to this device? You just go ahead and click yes. Or go ahead and install this. So once this is installed, we're going to install the extension pack. Let it install. Okay. I'm not going to start this. I'm just going to say finish. And double click on the extension pack. And we're going to install the extension pack. Go ahead and click on install. You have to scroll all the way down in order for the agree, disagree to buttons to appear. I agree. Then again, you got the option to say yes to allow to make updating to your operation system. And now it's successfully installed. It's done. Before we continue, we're gonna do some settings over here. So let's go to File Preferences. First thing that I want to change is a default machine for the folders. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's do an other. In here, I'm gonna put this in D drive, VM, Virtualbox. That's gonna be my default location where I'm gonna put those in here. Now for the network, click on plus sign in here to add the first one. I'm just going to add both of them, then I'll make the change that I needed to make. So click on the first one, edit this one here. I'm going to call public. And I'm going to change this to 3. So it'll be 10.0.3.0 network. And the second one, I'm going to click on this. And I'm going to call this host only network, and I'm going to change that to 1 for internal network. Hit OK. So both of them are there. Hit OK. So the network has been created. Now let's go ahead and create a new virtual machine. So I'm going to create a new. Then I'm going to call this Kali. Let's do the Kali Linux first. Kali like this. and it is a Linux operation system, and Debian is, where's my Debian? Right there, Debian 64-bit. And next, I'm gonna give it 2 GB of memory, so 2048. And recommended size, it's 8 GB. So let's go ahead and create a new virtual disk. Let's create a new virtual disk image, Virtualbox disk image. Let's go create next. I'm gonna do a fixed size. They recommend 8 gig. I'm gonna do 20 gig. And I'm gonna change the location. So yep, this is good enough. Cali, that's where I want it to be. Virtualbox and Cali. That's the exact location where I want it to create. Go ahead and hit create. This is going to take a while. I'm going to pause this and I'll come back when the creation is done. Actually, while that's going, let's go back to Google and let's try google.com. And go ahead and search for Kali Linux download. So this is the official location for Kali Linux. I'm gonna download the 64-bit. Just click in there and start downloading your Kali Linux. So now I'll pause because this is gonna take a while to do this and still creating the virtual disk. I'll pause now and I'll come back when this is done. Alright, so let me just go back to preference here really quick. Network. We don't need this host only. Let's delete this host only for now. I'll tell you why. So we just need the public IP address. And the public IP address remains the same, which is 10.0.3.0.24. So it's 255 IP addresses in there on that range. And the reason why I deleted that private network, because the private network is on the global tools. If you click on the global tools in there, this is your virtual host, host-only Ethernet adapter. And this is the one we're going to use, but we're going to be making some changes over here. So if you look at the adapter, so the adapter IP address is that. We don't want that. We want a 10.0.1.0.1. Actually 10.0.1.1. So that's the IP address that we wanted for this network. And we're going to make a change to the other ones too. Let's make a change to the HCP server. So we're going to change this 10.0.1, 10.0.1, and 10.0.1. So those are the changes that we're going to be making. Applying the settings. Just say yes. So now we have the host-only IP network, and we can go back to this one, and we have the public IP address. So this one here, we're going to just go to here, right-click, and settings on this virtual disk that we just created, and we're going to do some changes over here. So we'll change this, so that's fine. 2 gig. I want storage. This. So let's go to system over here. So I have a floppy disk. We don't need a floppy disk, so we can delete the flop disk. We need a hard disk, and we need a network adapter. So the network adapter, we definitely need that. Okay. So we got all of that, and we don't need a floppy, so we can get rid of floppy. Storage, the floppy is this disk is empty. We're just gonna go ahead and browse this. We're gonna choose a virtual disk image. In this case, we are going to where we download, and this is the Kali Linux that we just downloaded. I'm gonna open this. So this is the Kali Linux, it's right there. That's good enough. Audio, we can ignore this. So we're going to use the net for the adapter one, which is fine, none for the other adapters. And this is the network that we created, the net. the network that we created before. So hit OK. So let's go back to File Preferences so you can see Network. And this is a public network, actually. We created a public network. So let's go back here. And Settings, Network. We're going to use the public network. We don't use this. Let's use the network. Hit OK. It's fine. So let's power up this and let's go ahead and install Kali Linux. So this is the virtual machine starting. It's Virtualbox. And here's Kali Linux. So we're not going to do live. I'm gonna do this here. I want to use graphical install. If you want to do non-graphic install, you can do that too. I'm going to use graphic install. So now it's booting up the Linux. Let's see what's going on over here. We're going to use English. United States, you pick the region that you are from, which is fine. And American English is fine with me. And so it's going to be loading this disk. Installation is pretty simple, pretty straightforward, just going to follow the default. But you can you run as a live disk if you want to just run as a live disk too. But I'd rather do the installation. This way it's going to be available for us to use it every single time. So I'm going to pause and I'll come back when the next option is. So I'm just going to call this host name Kali, which is fine. You can name anyone or anything you want to name in there. Domain name, I don't have one. I'm going to do ethical. How about that? How about if we call this network as ethical? Next, your root password. I'm going to use store as my password and Tor. And you can see show clear text. I'm just going to type Tor as my root password for this machine. I don't really care if it's well protected or not. Eastern is fine with me. Go next. So I'm going to use the entire disk. Good enough for me. So I'm not going to use the LVM. We're not going to encrypt this disk. Just that one is perfectly fine. Just continue. Continue. That's the virtual disk that we created. That's good enough. I'm not going to separate partitions, just everything be in a single disk. This is how it's going to be. And continue. I'm going to say yes to write those changes. Now I'm going to make the change to those disks. And formatting the disk. And I'm going to be installing the system. This is going to take a while. I'm going to pause the system right now and I'll be back when it's done. Okay, while this is still installing, let's go ahead and download the Windows 7 machine. So if you open your browser and then you type, I'm going to put all this URL into the description so you don't need to make a note here. So go to the developer.microsoft.com and in here you'll be able to select the machines that you want to do. So let's go ahead and do a Windows 7. And the platform is going to be Virtualbox and download zip. Let's go ahead and do a Windows 8. Windows 8.1. And also Virtualbox, download zip. And of course Windows 10. Let's pick the stable version instead of the preview version. And also Virtualbox and download zip. So those also is going to take a while, so we just let them download while we do the installation for the Kali Linux to continue installing. I'll pause now and I'll come back when it's done. As you can see here, this virtual machine is going to expire in 90 days, which will give you enough for you to do your testing, anything that you needed to do. If you need some instruction, you can click here. You're going to see some instruction how to download the instruction, install, and extract. It's a pretty good information how to do this. But I'm going to be showing you anyway, so we don't need to worry about that. And I think we'll wait until those downloads finish and the Kali Linux finish installing too. Kali Linux is the next step here. It was about the network. Just use the mirror network. Just click yes, continue. No proxy. We're going to use no proxy because I don't have a proxy service configured. And we'll come back when the next step is ready. So now he's installing the Gruber. After that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and say yes, continue. And as I did this, continue. Installing the Grub bootloader, finishing up the installation, and I'll come back when this is finished. All right, installation is complete. Just go ahead and click continue. It will be finishing this. And the installation is completed. The virtual machine is now rebooting. Don't show this icon again. Let me close this and close this. So this is Kali Linux. And after this is done, let's go check really quick. So Windows 7 is done. Windows 10 and Windows 11 is still downloading. We'll go back to the Windows 7 shortly. Let's just go finish up the Kali Linux. So now the username is root. Password is store. Let's sign in. And this is Kali Linux. We're going to do some other things over here to get ready for the next things. But for now, we're just going to power it off. We don't need it to do anything else here. So just go and click on the power button over here. And we are going to shut down. Just power off for now. And minimize this while that's shutting down. Alright, so Windows 7 is done. Let's go ahead and do Windows 7 also, so we can conclude this video. So I was thinking about stopping and continuing on the next video, but let's go ahead and finish this one. So let's cut this. I want to put this into my D drive where my virtual machines are. I'm going to put it right here. And the machine is the file is copied over here. I'm going to right click. I'm using WinRAR, so I'm going to right click. You can use WinZip, whatever you want to click. I'm going to extract to this folder. So that's going to take a little while too. I'm going to pause and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, the extract is almost done. So it's going to be on. Okay, it's over. So that's what we have, the Windows 7 virtual disk. So what we're going to do, let's go back here, go File, Import Appliance. And we're going to browse this. We're going to find that my D drive, VM, Virtualbox, Windows 7, open this. Let's go ahead and next. So let's see if we can make some changes over here. This is good enough. This is good enough. This is good enough. Let's just go ahead and import. Let's reinitialize the MAC address for all cards and import. That's going to take about 2 minutes to complete. I'll pause and I'll return when it's done. It's almost over. Okay, that's over. Now we have our Windows 7 machine over here. Before we power on, let's go to click on the settings. I want to make some adjustments over here. So I don't care about IE8, just name this. Alright, let's go. I'm going to rename this to Windows 7. System is fine. I want to give some more memory over here. This is not too much. 2048 megabytes. Megabytes of memory is good enough. Don't need to have a floppy disk. And I believe everything else will be the same. Processor, I'm going to give you 2 processor because I want it to be a little bit faster. Display, good enough, good enough. Everything else is good. I'm going to change also the Kali Linux. I think I only have system processor. I want to do a dual processor too. Alright, it's good enough. So let's power up this machine and see what's going on with Windows 7. And we'll be ready for the next video where we're going to do some configuration on the Linux machine and the Windows machine and get them ready for the hacking on, or trying to access and gain control of Windows machine and hacking that machine. Let's close this and close this. Alright, so here's your Windows 7 machine, and it's detecting a bunch of devices in there because it's the first time I'm booting. And we can close. So this is the machine. I will start later. And this is your Windows machine. Everything is fine, good to go. There is an update for the tools. We're gonna do this later, but not for now. But right now, this is good enough. I'm going to put all the links on the description. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And on the next video, we're going to do some more configuration on these 2 machines. And we're going to install Windows 10. And we're going to hack Windows 7 and Windows 10 machine.